This weekend was the Strongman Classic in London, one of the Giants Live's biggest events of the year, and what a show it was. Amazing show this weekend. We saw 4 records at this show, amazing performances, lots of great names in the sport competing, and Mitch Hooper absolutely on fire this weekend.
Yeah, we had really high expectations from this show anyway, didn't we? With the lineup, we knew we had the top 5 from World's Strongest Man this year. It was the first big arena show since the World's Strongest Man, which was back at the beginning of May now. So it's been
quite a bit of a break,
hasn't it? Yeah, so it's a good break for these guys. And yeah, I feel like it definitely delivered.
So the competition kicked off with the axle for max, and this is where we saw the new world record, 218 kilos by Mitch Hooper. Got it on his second attempt, didn't manage to get it on the first attempt. He was allowed a few minutes break, came back and absolutely smashed it. I know you saw some controversy with comments online. However, we were in the rules meeting the night before, and what the athletes were told is there was no time limit. It's to the referee's discretion. And we saw this with a couple of athletes. However, Mitch's execution, absolutely perfect. World record for Mitch. It meant a lot to him. He's obviously won competitions before, but he's never had a meaningful world record. And when I say a meaningful world record, you know, we had 4 records in this competition, but athletes are looking at deadlift, log, axle. They're the records that they really set the standard on. The other records are more competition records, if you like.
Yeah, and quite equipment dependent as
Obviously, well. Obviously, yeah. So it was a great start for Mitch. They moved on to the axle deadlift for reps. The record on this event is 8 reps, 360 kilo axle for repetitions. Matt Ragg has done 8 reps on this before. Big trip over for Matt. He got 7 reps in this competition. Not quite his best, but the man has a long way to go in a very short period of time as well. So we'll forgive him for being a little bit off his best. But Mitch Hooper once again able to step up and go last, taking the win on this event.
So one of the main stories leading into this competition, I feel, was Mitch versus Tom. Like, this has been a rivalry that's really, I think, ignited a passion in a lot of people. It's the new Zadrunas and Brian, perhaps. Yeah,
Terry Holland said it on the live stream. It is very much like the new Zadrunas and Brian Shaw rivalry. I think we're going to see back and forths between the two for many, many years. Both of them in their 20s still.
I know. No, Tom's 30 now, Lozzie. Tom's 30. But anywho, Tom got 6 reps on that axle deadlift. And I think, I don't know about you, for me, this was the point in the competition when I thought, okay, so it's not World's Strongest Man shaped Tom that has arrived at this competition.
I think that's to be expected.
I think so too. We've talked about it before. It's not easy to be World's Strongest Man.
We did the video beforehand showing that very few, you know, you've got to go back to Thor in 2018 to see a World's Strongest Man winner win his next competition.
Yeah.
And there is so much more pressure now on the winner of World's Strongest Man. There's so much more expected of them that it is hard to keep that focus and keep training. And it's usually the guy 2nd, 3rd, 4th that are hungry to train hard. And, you know, they've had a bit of pressure. I mean, Mitch, obviously World's Strongest Man last year, didn't win it this year. You almost get that relief of pressure and then you're hungry again to want to be the best.
So, the chasing pack.
Absolutely. One thing I really loved about this weekend was Pavlo Kordiaka's form. He looked in tremendous form and he broke his own record on the Conan Circle with an incredible distance of 1,035 degrees. He was head and shoulders above everyone on this event.
Yeah, and because it was after the deadlift, he was one of the first athletes out, so he had nothing
to push it.
Yeah, he had to go all out. But we've seen this from Pavlo before, haven't we? It's a great event for him.
He's got so many good events now, and it's just the deadlift really that's holding us back. He's almost becoming a bit like Kiliashkovsky, where he's got so many fantastic events and there's just that one standout weakness. And really, I mean, he only got 2 reps on the deadlift, so that was the big factor that held him back. But everything else he was spot on with, and he performed amazingly in the contest, ending up in 3rd place overall.
So next up was the Wrecking Ball hold. Now, it is billed as a grip event. I think everyone who's done it now, all of the experts in the field will all agree that it is not a grip event. It is a pain tolerance event.
Very much so.
And it was won by Mitch Hooper with 118 seconds, which again was a new record. Tom, I thought he did really well on this. Historically not so good at these types of events, and there was a point in his performance when I thought it's going down, and it didn't. He really dug
What was
deep.
great, and I've got to kind of give Tom his due here, is he fights now.
Yes.
There was a point, like you said, he almost looked like he went down.
Yeah.
And rather than just putting it down, which we've seen in the past, he dug deep and he kept fighting. And that's the real change in his attitude now. You know, you're not always going to beat your best for every competition, but Tom keeps fighting. And I think that's why we're seeing multiple podiums in a row by Tom. We've seen the ups and downs in the past, but for the last, 8, 9 competitions, he's been on the podium. He's proving he's one of the best in the world without question.
We should shout out to Alexei Novikov as well, who came second on this. Alexei, bless him, he thought the record was like 3 minutes or something.
There was also a little bit of controversy with Kaz doing the countdown. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so he started a countdown. Mitch didn't want a countdown, I think.
Well, he actually made Mitch go beyond the record.
Oh, did he?
And Mitch was like, "Why did you make me hold it
for longer?" Yeah.
But
Kaz got into the spirit of things and started counting down, and I think Mitch felt like he couldn't put it down then until it was over.
But after that event, Mitch was actually 12 points in the lead going into the Atlas Stones. Sorry, the Castle Stones. I should get it right.
Stones.
And it meant he only needed to do 1 stone. He's got the strongest man on earth coming up. That contest last weekend was very much bicep heavy, so he decided to use the position he was in and just do 1 stone. Tom Stoltman doing what he does, winning the Atlas Stones as normal, and Kane Francis second place on the stones. Kane has had some really good stone runs recently.
He has. It was a great finish to the competition for Kane. Pavlo Cordiaca really concerned that he'd sort of fluffed it at the last minute, but he'd done enough overall.
He'd done so well on the other 3 events as well, so he really picked up some points. A couple of things to point out. Firstly, man of the match from me was Andy Flynn. He was super impressive, ended up 7th overall, but stepping into that level competition, he really held his own very, very well. Let's remember, he's never even done Britain's Strongest Man before, and he jumps in at this level and holds his own against some of the absolute best in the world.
With the least amount of notice also.
Absolutely. The other thing we'll point out is Evan Singleton unfortunately picked up an injury on the first event, so the axle for Max. He picked up a hamstring injury, small tear, he thinks. Hopefully nothing serious, and he'll be back training soon. So yeah, great competition. Mitch Hooper taking the win, Tom Stoltman second, Pavlo Cordiaca in third. Now we move on to this coming weekend. We are off to Estonia for the Strongman Champions League. Their next stop is in Estonia. Irvin Toitz is putting on this competition. He's put together some great events, some visually really cool events to look at.
Some pretty insane events. So this is all going to take place in Tartu in the town centre, which is a nice pedestrianised area. And they're starting off with a Viking boat pour, arm over arm style, on a bridge by the looks of it. So the rope is going to go through the railings down to this boat, which the athletes are going to pour arm over arm.
It's going to look pretty cool.
It looks pretty epic, doesn't it?
It does indeed. After that, we have a Viking press, 160 kilos for reps.
Now, they're doing a Conan's wheel, and Irvin has said it's going to weigh about 350 kilos, which to me just sounds insanely heavy.
To be honest, Conan's wheel weights vary so much.
Okay.
So,
the pivot.
Yeah, how long the pivot is makes a big difference. I've done anything from 250 to 400 in competitions, and it's quite often in competitions with different kit that the weights will vary.
Okay.
It's the pickup point is probably not going to be 350 kilos in your hand. It wouldn't be like picking up a yoke and carrying it with that much weight. Probably more like 200 kilos in the hands. But you can never kind of, well, I guess a scientist could figure it out. As a strong man, you get under there. You get under there, you go further than everyone else in the competition, and you walk away with a smug looking face. Or is that just me? Next event is a wheelbarrow into a shield carry. So again, moving events. The wheelbarrow is going to be 350 to 400 kilos. Shield, I should imagine, 180-ish kilos. It's kind of standard for shield. About speed, who can do this the fastest?
Then they're moving into a bag toss series over a 4.3 metre plinth platform height. But the heaviest bag is going to weigh 35 kilos. Again, I think that's quite heavy. It
is heavy, a little bit heavier than we see in some competitions, but interesting point in this competition, no deadlift. So, you know, we're seeing a variety of events. I think that's pretty cool. And the final event, we're finishing with the power stairs in this one. So power stairs to finish this competition. Should be a really good comp. So if you do happen to live in Tartu in Estonia, this competition is free to come and watch in the town centre. We would love to meet some of you over there. It's going to be an amazing comp. We'll bring you some updates. As always, guys, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you guys next time.